Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our podcast, and I know why. We're so glad you guys are here today. Today's topic is going to be super fun. We are going to be talking about dreams. We're going to talk about why we dream, some of the important reasons why spiritually, mentally, physically dreams are the way they are, as well as doing a dream interpretation. We have a friend who's going to come on, and she's going to share a dream with us that we haven't heard yet. And we will kind of walk through an interpretation of that. And we're hoping that we'll do a lot more podcasts on dream interpretation because it's something that people ask us a lot about. Yeah. So anyway, I guess before we get started, I just wanted to know, how's your day going?
Mine is going okay. We have 2 grandkids here right now. And of course, their mom, Erica, and they are so fun. But there's,
stressed.
you get tired is what you do. You have fun, but you get tired. And I've gotten better at when baby is stinky or crying to not feel like I have to take care of it and just hand baby over. So that's good, right? That's an improvement. But, otherwise, it's been good. And the older kids, they're doing great. Have a day off today from school. So everybody's just kind of having fun. And hopefully we are too.
Yay, yeah. I hope so. Because this is really fun topic.
Well, it is. And, it's funny because I want to get... so one of the things that is hard for us right now is we're learning to do this. And hopefully everyone... hits like if they're liking this, but it is hard at first when we're learning this, right? Because this is not something we went to school for or, right. had any training for. So some of the things that we're doing doesn't give me time to do the kind of studying I'd love to do to help, get my my vocabulary brushed up on, and sound all sharp and smart all the time. So Some of that is like a little bit stressful to me because I think to myself, oh my gosh, I'm going to be like an imbecile suddenly one day when you start talking to me, I'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. What is our topic today?
Yeah. And I'm always kind of like, am I going to randomly forget everything that I know?
Yes.
And
yes,
or and we've talked about because we do like impromptu dream interpretations for people. Like we were doing some lives of that, and like obviously we don't have every symbol in the entire world memorized, and like sometimes we were talking about when for a moment like our brains almost go, "Am I going to know how to interpret this?
Yeah,
am I going to know what?"
You get that real fearful moment where all of a sudden your ego gets involved and says, something's going to go wrong. You're not going to be able to remember something or
you
feel
don't know
something.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, that imposter syndrome all of a sudden.
Yeah, all those times it went right. That was just a fluke.
Yeah.
It's not how it really goes.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how long. I mean, I've been doing this really, honestly, dreaming and dream interpretation for my very own self since I was a young girl. And you have too. So, I mean, like,
yes.
And we still oh my gosh, what if the moment happens where I can't do it? And we get scared.
Yeah. So just a little preface there about like, we're humans. And, well, let's, getting into dream interpretation. What is dream interpretation? So there are people who do specific, I would say, forms of a dream interpretation where they follow like a specific person. So there are people who do like Freudian, that's how you say it, right? Freud.
I don't know. Oh, Freudian. I thought you said Freudian. Gordian. Okay, my sound is weird.
hard to pronounce. But they'll like pick a specific person and kind of go off of the way that they talked about interpreting things. We personally are not people who like Freud's interpretations. He obviously there are good things in his interpretations, but we do not conform to one specific kind. But that being said, if you were going to put us in a category, I feel like ours would be more of the Jung, like Jung.
Yeah, Jung.
What's his? Carl Jung.
Yeah.
Jung. Yeah.
I don't know. Jung. If we're American, we can say Jung.
So anyway, if you wanted to like kind of get into that and you wanted to know like, okay, which person did we more align with out of those two, that would be who we would go with. And we do have... But
Jung is also a spiritual person. That's partly why it's easier for us to align with that. Yeah.
Freud and Jung knew each other, and they clashed about dream stuff.
Well, and if I remember correctly, Freud cheated on Jung.
Oh, that's right.
Cheated with his wife, I think. I think it's
really?
Like
okay,
that.
I can't remember.
I mean, there's more than just a clash of ideals. There's a clash of morals too.
Okay, yeah, I want to look that up because I can't remember. I mean, I know there's issue of like Freud had come to Carl with interpreting his dream or something too. Like I remember they compared ideas.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's kind of random, but
I know, but
basically
it's real.
Yeah, it's real. So did dream interpretation start with Freud? No, it did not. But there are a lot of people that nowadays like buy his books or do interpretations based off of him. That is not what we do. But dream interpretation has been an essential part of history and culture and medicine just forever, like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years, where dreams have been used to diagnose illnesses and figure out what's going on physically with somebody. Yeah. Communication between people. I actually didn't even write that down as something, but, meeting people on like the spiritual plane. There's
exactly.
There are so many places when you really look back at history, and there's a really good book called The Secret History of Dreaming, if someone out there is interested in kind of understanding a little bit more about that. I can't remember the author right now. Do you remember who it is?
It's Robert.
It's Robert something. You know what?
Yeah, it's a Scottish name or something. Yeah, we better do a link below.
We could do a link below. Thanks. So we can remember that. And we'll put a few of our other books that we like for interpretation. Yeah. So dreaming has been an essential part of the human existence for a really long time. And scientifically, we've tried to study it and do lots of different things to have an understanding about what's going on. Why are we dreaming? And what does it look like and what's happening in the body, what's happening in the brain. And so we're going to talk, I want to just kind of cover why we dream. And not just I feel like you could go out and find some other podcasts and things that are really going to focus on like the physical and mental reasons behind dreaming. We're going to do a little bit more of a focus on a spiritual, emotional side, just because this is, not a super in-depth podcast right now, right? There's so much to cover. We're just going to kind of blanket. And if you want to get more in-depth on those other topics right now, you can look up one
comment
of those.
Below too, and we can dissect it more another time for sure. That would be just totally fine. But as far as I often look at. So because we are more spiritual in our thinking and in our gifts, I really do look at dreaming like it is a spiritual thing. It's meant to help you mentally and emotionally. It can help you physically. It helps you socially to deal with things in life that you have to deal with, that we all have to deal with, and to understand what's coming, right? So futuristic even. But all of this is actually, it is still spiritual. It is still going to be inspired for your individual self. So in the end, any symbol still might not fit who you are if you read it from a book, because in the end, it still has to be in here about who you are. And that's the spiritual language.
I kind of, when we were thinking about this podcast and like she's saying, viewing things more through a spiritual lens, I've kind of written down 4 main reasons why we dream. And we won't be focusing on all of these today. And like Dominique said, like just comment below what ones you're most interested in learning next. And I'm just thinking this is going to end up being a series because this is something that people ask us about so often.
Yeah.
And this isn't even just people that we work with. This is like, people come up to you and just start talking about dreams, right? That happens to everybody.
That's
happens to
like
you and me.
Just today for my trainer, she's talking to me, stretch here, do this. All of a sudden, let me tell you about my dream that I had. Can you help me with it? And I'm like, I'm stretching and in pain. Yeah, okay. I will do this.
Dreams culturally, like we share our dreams with each other and we think about things, and after we have the dream, like it's a way to kind of bond with people where you're like, oh, I had this crazy dream last night. Like it's safe territory to talk about.
Yeah.
Which is always, as a person who interprets dreams, and I don't know if you feel this way, but I always sometimes get a little uncomfortable when somebody who doesn't know me starts telling me a dream and they don't know I know how to interpret dreams. And I end up knowing a little bit too much about what's going on in their life, what they're struggling with, or like what's coming next. It's always a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's not my boundary or my space to like talk to you about this because that's, your dream and you're just having fun sharing with me.
That's so true. Sometimes that happens. Not usually, but sometimes. And if you don't know them well, you're like, I don't think you really wanted me to know that.
Yeah. I remember it happening a lot in college just because of like the atmosphere that I was in of people like all talking and being around each other and being grouped that way. Happened quite a bit for me then.
And the hormones are stronger then, too. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense.
Which, hormones are, that's one of the things we're not necessarily talking about today, but hormones push your dreams more, right?
Yes,
and
they do.
Okay, so I guess before I even talk about reasons why we dream, everybody dreams. And I know there are people that go, well, what if I don't dream? I can't remember my dreams. Everybody does dream. And what's that thing? It's like, if you didn't dream, like you'd literally be insane. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, there's an actual scientific concept of a certain amount of time. If you didn't dream, what would happen?
Yeah. So
and you would go crazy within a certain space.
Yeah. So you'll have to look that up. I don't remember what it was. I just remember coming across it and going, oh boy, yeah. So everybody dreams. Yeah. And if you want to remember your dreams, and if dreaming is something that you want to explore and expand as a spiritual gift for you, or even if you're not feeling super drawn to it spiritually, but, wanting to work on your mental health, dreaming is something that you can explore and push further. I don't know, have it more as a part of your life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it may not, just like any gift, it may not be, the absolute biggest or best if you're of your gifts, but you can improve it and you can help yourself in life. You don't always need someone like us, a dream interpreter.
Yeah. And I think, part of us doing this podcast is we want people to be able to do things for themselves and be able to, find the guidance that they need, but then also be able to learn how to do these things. And, and we'll get a little bit more into that because the person who's coming on today, she's actually been learning how to do dream interpretation. So, okay, everyone, this is Kelsey. Actually, you can't see her, but we can see her.
She's so cute.
She's so cute, you guys. You'll see her another time. We wanted Kelsey to come on. Kelsey is my friend. I grew up with her. She's like a sister. We met when we were like 3 and 4, so haven't really been in life much without each other.
Yeah.
And Kelsey has been having a lot of dreams lately, and she's been working on understanding her own dreams and different things. And so I called her up today and I said, hey, can you hop on with us and share a dream? We haven't heard it yet. We want to just kind of walk you guys through so you can see what dream interpretation looks like and how it I don't know, looks real time.
Yeah.
So
This will be so fun.
as Kelsey, it will. It's gonna be super fun. So Kelsey will tell us the dream. My mom and I will be kind of like taking notes on certain things, and then after we've interpreted it for Kelsey, she's gonna give us her little feedback on how it resonates or doesn't resonate for her. So without further ado, Kelsey, take it away.
Thank you so much. So the dream, and this is just last night too. This is the dream I just had.
And I called you right like a little bit after you woke up.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, could you do this? She was like, I'll write it down.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let me make sure I get the details then if we're gonna talk about it. So so in the dream, I don't know if I had like a one night stand with Kara. Oh, sorry, by the way, this is a friend that I was really close with. And just a few years ago, we basically ended our friendship for the listeners out there. So I think I had like a one night stand with her or something, because all of a sudden we had a child together. So in my dream, we had a daughter together. And I remember I like went to her and I was like, hey, this is our child. Do you want to be in the child's life? Like, are we going to co-parent? Do you want me just to have her? What's going on? And Kara said she does want to have, the daughter in her life. But I was the one that was pregnant with the daughter. I nursed the daughter. I had her. She must have been like 2 years old when this is starting. So, so maybe Kara didn't really know about her until now. But that's a little bit fuzzy in the dream. But anyway, she wanted to have a part in her daughter's life, and she wanted to be there. She wanted to see her, all of that. And Kara and her family were all planning a huge trip to go to like Switzerland for like 2 to 3 weeks. So she asked me like, hey, can I have our daughter come on this trip with me and my family? And I was like, oh, that is a long trip. I was still nursing the daughter at this time too. So I'm like, okay, I don't think our daughter's old enough where she's going to be done nursing. So like, that's going to be really tough to figure out how to make these next like 2 to 3 weeks happen. Like, I don't know if she'll take a bottle. I don't know. Like, am I going to lose my supply by the time she gets back? So I basically told a friend, it's not going to work for the daughter to come on the trip with you and your family. So obviously she's upset. Her whole family was upset. At the same time, in our town and in our community, they were doing like a fair. So Kara and her family even had a booth at the fair, and they were doing a fundraiser for their trip. So people could come buy baked goods or like play games, but like all the funds were going to go to this family trip they were planning. And so the community knew we had this daughter together, and I think some of them knew the daughter wasn't going to go. I think some thought the daughter was going. Like, not everyone knew. But our friend in common knew that I had told her no. And our friend in common was really angry. I'm going to say her name is Alice. And it was really interesting for her in the dream because I knew it was Alice, but she had the image of someone else that I went to school with. But anyway, so she was a very good mutual friend of me and Kara when we were really close, like in our friendship. So she heard that I had said no to let the daughter go, and she was very upset for Kara. And she was really upset that I had said no. Also in the community, everyone knew that I loved the show Bluey. If you've ever seen Bluey on Disney Plus, I really do love it. And I watch it with my son. And it must have been one of those things that I like told everyone about. Maybe I posted about it. Like, the whole town just really knew I like had a big love for this show Bluey. So this friend Alice of ours, she dresses up as one of the Bluey characters. Oh, sorry. Do you have a question?
No,
No,
I
think
coughed.
she just coughed.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I coughed inconveniently.
Oh, no problem. So this friend Alice dressed up as one of these Bluey characters. And it was a really bad attempt of it too. And then she had plastered it all over social media, making fun of Bluey. But everyone knew it was my favorite show. So it was almost like everyone knew she was doing it to like spite me. And that's very much how it felt. I think that was her motive in doing all this. It was to pick on me or spite me or something like that. And I think the whole town picked it up too, because they were like, wait, she loves the show, and here you are dissing the show that like we know she loves. So that was really embarrassing. I like screenshotted her post because Kara didn't know she did it at the time. And then also I just kind of wanted it for my own records that she had gone on and did a post like this. And then later on at the fair, I was going on a ride. It wasn't like Kara's ride. It was just there at the fair. And more people heard that I wasn't letting our daughter go on the trip. And so as I'm on this ride, people are throwing eggs at me. They're throwing feathers at me. I'm like getting picked on, going through like this little amusement ride. And then at the very end of it even turns and it like spat me out in mud. So I like had this huge public display of like shame, basically. And everyone just being angry that I'm not letting our daughter go on the trip. So at the very end of the dream, I like find a river, I get washed off. I'm like, that was so embarrassing. Like, why are people so angry about this? And then Kara came. And Kara saw me. She's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I didn't know Alice was going to do what she did. I didn't know the town was going to react like they did. Like, obviously, I am upset that you won't let that daughter come with me. But, like, I wasn't going to, like, I didn't want any of this to happen to you, though. And I didn't mean for this to happen. In fact, I'm trying to, like, actually build good rapport with you still in hopes maybe you'll change your mind. So, like, I'm sad everyone reacted so poorly because that's not what I wanted. I wish everyone was actually maybe more, I don't know, polite or respectful, and maybe we could still change your mind, because in the end, that's what I wanted. I wanted the daughter to go on the trip with me. But she just said sorry, and we just kind of sat there and just talked. And by the end of the dream, it just felt like her and I had a friendship and like a rapport that we haven't had in years. So it kind of ended with us feeling like we kind of rekindled our friendship a little bit. So that's the dream.
Yay! Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I know.
So I'm so excited to hear
There's so many
your
things.
insights about this dream. I'll share with you
a
few thoughts I've had. Or do you want me to?
Don't share your thoughts
Okay,
yet.
thank you.
Not yet. Keep them hidden.
keep them secret.
Suppress them.
Keep them safe.
Suppress them.
Okay. So I mean, Kelsey is my best friend, so we talk a lot. So I know about a lot of things that are going on. So I'm actually going to let you start, Mom, and go, because she doesn't know anything. So that'll be good. Well, she knows lots of things, guys. She doesn't know necessarily what's happening.
I really don't know what's going on in Kelsey's life. She totally ignores me, you guys. But for real, I don't. So I'm looking at all this. So I'm looking at all this, and I am seeing some things are just about you, Kelsey.
Okay.
But you do have family involved in how you see things, like the pressure around you.
Yeah.
Feels like it's family pressure. And, you know, like your town fair, so there's some things there right away that I want to go to before I even tackle everything else. Because your town fair, it's interesting because your town fair is, it's full of people who you feel support from. In one way or another, they're close. So it makes me think it's your family, and makes me feel very strongly that this is often about family and support versus family judging and bullying. And so a lot, I kind of want to couch a lot of this, of what you're learning and growing from right now, into that concept about the dynamics that you are having in your family, and what you're trying to figure out how to deal with it, and how the people in your life, there might be some that mean to do what they're doing and others that don't mean to.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of that in this dream. I always confuse people's names in dreams. So I did write some things down so I wouldn't mess that up. But let's see. So right away, I want to look at the next thing is you raising this baby for 2 years of her life, at least, without having had, it's not that you didn't tell her, it's that you did this by yourself. This is showing your capabilities and your accomplishments as being a nurturer and someone who understands her role in life, like what she's supposed to do. Where is her responsibility? That's you in this dream. Okay. But then you go to your Kara, I think is right. Yeah. You go to her and you tell her, and she's very excited about helping you. But again, she wants to take her to Switzerland. Well, first of all, Switzerland's far away. That's not okay with any parent, right? So it's not going to be okay. But Switzerland has a couple of interesting things. Switzerland is known to be neutral.
Yeah.
And that neutrality is I'm going to say that it's a facade. It's not the truth.
Yeah. I mean, the country itself is able to stay neutral because of, certain things with how they're situated in the mountains and everything.
Yeah.
Right. But in reality, there is no neutrality in your dream. There is, she wants to have the daughter. She wants to be in charge now of the daughter. And her family wants to go to Switzerland and wants to be in charge. And it starts to feel more like a power struggle, a power play in your life. And so I'm wondering, who right now are you struggling having a power play with? Who's in charge? And what is appropriate in your life with what is appropriate in your life, and someone else maybe telling you, no, you should be doing things this way. I have some thoughts on that, but I don't want to say it in case I'm actually right. So I'm not going to say that. But there are some people that a specific person that doesn't have their intentions not very bad, but they're very selfish in how they do things. And they couch it in trying to be helpful and neutral, but they're really not in your life. Okay. Because they also they have their own agenda. They desire, like in this, they desire to go to Switzerland. They desire to do something, go somewhere, create something in their own life. But in the process, they are actually trying to take away from you.
Right.
Okay.
And
that's
can I
add
not
a little bit more to that too?
Yeah.
I feel like, it's also showing, because I'm a breastfeeding mom right now too. And Kelsey brought up milk a lot in the dream. Yeah, and I think that's also an important thing to note too. Like the life sustenance that you're creating, the things that you are physically that you're physically building, that's nurturing your life, all these things that are nurturing, right? This person that is being represented isn't taking that into consideration.
No.
Isn't
they don't
looking at
see
those
it as
things.
valuable.
It's not valuable because maybe the baby could just get food wherever in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Instead of really thinking about what is you brought up, you were still breastfeeding. So there's this huge importance there that this person is totally ignoring because that would be not just for the baby and the nutrition for the baby, but also for you in your life, because how long does it take to wean a baby?
Yeah.
That is asking a huge commitment from you and a huge selfish move on not thinking about the baby, what is best for the baby. So that's what I just wanted to add in there.
I love that. Yeah, because it is. And I put nurture down here too. that it's not being respected, what you're creating and nurturing in your life. I want to go to your friend Alice.
Yeah.
Who, it's interesting because she goes, from what I understand, you're saying that she went as a middleman to help. Is that right? And communicate to you that they wanted you to let the baby come to Switzerland. Is that the right way?
Well, she was saying Alice didn't know. Well, that the other girl didn't know that Alice was doing it.
Kara didn't know how. So Alice and Kara are really good friends. So when Alice heard that I said no to Kara, she was upset and she lashed out in anger for her friend.
Okay, so for her friend, I couldn't tell if she had come and spoke to you separately to get the answer and then bring it back.
No,
okay.
She just heard what my answer was, and she was upset for her friend, and that's how she chose to express it to me, I guess.
Okay, great. So, and I have absolutely no knowledge of Bluey.
Yeah.
I can handle that part after, if you want to start into that, I do know about Bluey, so I can help with that.
But the town knows about that this friend did a bad post to make fun of you and to mock you.
Yeah.
And again, this really to me has to do with really unhealthy boundaries in your life where people are allowed to cross those boundaries, those lines, and say things and do things to make you feel bad or to try and influence you to do what they really want in the way that they want. So, and like I said, I don't know Bluey, so I can't really go with that.
Bluey, just so you know, Mom.
Go ahead into that.
And it fits perfectly, of course. I'm sure Kelsey's already going, yeah, I already know. But, Bluey, a lot of times right now in our culture is representative of normal life and real life and emotional intelligence and intentional parenting.
Okay.
That's kind of what do you feel like that encapsulates what Bluey is?
Yes. It's very positive parenting. It shows parents how to play with their kids. It's a really sweet.
That's brilliant. That's good.
Yeah, and it shows, and it shows
amazing.
the mom and dad's relationship, and it shows mom got overstimulated, she needs space, and dad coming in and helping. Like it really shows co-parent, being co-parents and being really intentional and involved. So I think that, that just gives you even more information, all those things that she was saying about. That even gives you information on what the specific thing is that you're being mocked about.
Oh.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
And it's taking that information, and I don't know which character it was. Was it the dad? What was it?
She actually dressed up as the daughter Bluey.
Okay. So, and that gives you more information too, of taking, having understanding of which specific one you're being mocked about. And this, and that character, she's learning a lot of things and she's learning how to interact and how to do things in a healthy way. So that part of you, hey, guess what? This is a great thing. What I love about this dream is that everyone in the town knows that you love it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that that's really important to you, right? Every aspect of yourself is viewing that as an important thing. And that's really good information too. Just having knowing okay, that really is truly resonating throughout my whole being and every part of me knows about it. That's really good.
Well, every part of you knows about it, about who you are. You understand who you are now. But it's also showing that so does your community, your family. They actually do know who you are now. And it's not a surprise anymore. I remember the day that I learned that my mom had a friend, I was so surprised because I'd never seen her with a friend, right? So when I learned she had one, I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. But your family knows all these things about you now. They truly do. There's no, whoa, I didn't know that about Kelsey, or whoa, I've never seen that before. They now know. And then you go into what is it that they're mocking you about? And I love that they threw feathers, eggs, and mud.
Yeah. And Kelsey, this is information for you too. Mud. And a few weeks ago, you had the dream about the woman in black in the mud again.
Yeah.
Remember how we talked about the scene?
Yeah.
Not necessarily that you dreamt about mud that time, but I actually think that those are connecting.
Interesting.
So that's a little tidbit just for you.
Hey. Okay,
But yeah, I mean, the being tarred, it's almost like you're being tarred and feathered.
Yeah.
But, eggs and feathers.
yeah, egg and feathers. Yeah.
So I'm actually going to go to a different layer of it. And the feathers are the spiritual aspects that they are mocking of who you are and causing you to feel shamed about your spirituality, whatever that is. And then the eggs have to do with creation and your creativity, as well as possibly you may be talking about having another child. And so again, there is a bunch of disrespect, let's just say, and anger about it that you feel, and maybe you feel pained because these are people that you like to trust. They're in your life. And then the mud, I mean, has a lot of layers, but it really, for me, we're just doing like a cursory concept here, what comes forward. But the mud also has to do with earthly things, physical things, your physical life, your the money, that your income, your home, your actual land in your life, all of that, and how it is not, again, being respected and honored for what you're trying to do. Let's see. Where's my notes?
Do you want me to talk a little bit?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead, because I might have a big empty space for a minute because I'm trying to find my notes.
I'm going to pop over and talk a little bit about the underlying positive things that we're seeing too.
Okay.
The fair, like she's saying, your family and all that stuff, it's fun. And there's, a lot there. I want you to have an understanding too, that like understanding the possibility of what it could be too, of what kind of space it can fully turn into for you. And I think it's very interesting, the fair as a fundraiser. And I wanted to know kind of what you were thinking about with that, Mom, of, this is it. A fair should not be doing that. A fair should not be sponsoring a trip for someone else.
Yeah, especially
Sorry, go ahead.
A fun family trip. It wasn't even like a fundraiser for, someone in the community that had health issues. Like, it felt like a very, like, hey, just help us go on this trip.
Yeah.
And so I would, think about that. What, the fruits of everything that you're getting with your family, what's that really going towards?
Okay.
Are you really profiting from it? Or is it even growing the things it's supposed to be growing?
Okay.
But like I'm saying, there's a huge possibility here for the fun to be there. For also, like just that creativity and everything growing. Like there's this sense that things can really, that could grow or, be good. But also a fair is movable, right? It moves to different places. And so there's maybe even just information for you too, that the phase that you're in with your family and where your family's at, that everybody's kind of in transition. That might even be information about what's going on with the whole family.
Yeah.
So, and I'm with Kinsey, the fun and the fair is really good information for you in a positive way. And to me, all of this is positive.
Oh, yeah,
because it's showing your strengths and where you are strong, and it's also showing where the sabotages happen. And to me, the fair is a sabotage too, because the fundraiser part, because this is you want to have fun, you want to do these things, you've got this concept of you're going to go have fun and enjoy yourself, and then what happens? I'd like some money, please. What this is about support And, you know, usually from, you know, maybe you are seeking affirmation from people instead of from yourself. And that's a real hard thing to deal with in life because we do want, I can remember the so many times I wanted my mom just to say once, honey, you are so pretty, you know, just once. But, and because I couldn't feel it, I just wanted it. Right. And so, it kind of feels concept like that. Like you're wanting someone else to give some affirmation and support and love probably to you, but it's really not gonna feel right even when you get it. If you get that money, it's not gonna feel right because it's got to come from you in the end.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I love, you know, you go through this. This is how you know, Kelsey, that you've been working on your healing because you went from conflict to resolution in one dream.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, people. That's what you want. You know, you go, and you know, this is an important part. And this is also information for you on you left the fair. Okay. You gave yourself space. And when you gave yourself space, you went to a place, the river, to clean and wash. And that is really spiritually powerful in that, you know, and I think too, Kelsey, also, you know, there's the concept of spirits can't cross over running water. Oh. You know, and so there might even be some entity things that you were
evil. Evil spirits.
You know, some evil things that you were clearing away from you when you did that. And what's interesting is where could you and Kara come to a resolution? It was after you went through the river or if you stayed at the river, right? And it actually created a neutral space for you.
Yeah.
You know, you found a real neutral space as opposed to the concept of what she was really wanting. And what I love too is you had a full conversation with her and she actually got to express her game, right? What she was really trying to do.
Yeah.
What she really wanted. She really wanted to have resolution with you about things.
I loved that.
And, you know, that part of you that is her is trying to figure out how to have this relationship with you. You reached a new space with that part of you. And I think that's really good. So, sorry, Mom, I saw that you got lit up by something. So go ahead.
I don't know. Does it light up? Oh, it does. I didn't even know.
No, just that. Like in general, you lit up.
Like you had something to say.
I don't know if you're
I'm seeing the outline of the square now.
Okay.
So I love that too, because Kelsey, I love how Kinsey said conflict resolution. You went in your dream from conflict to resolving. And it's true, you guys, when we can dream and we can have come to a full solution, it shows that we are growing and healing and changing our situational issues. So making it better, more positive. And I love that too, because it's not just what's within you, this conflict resolution, but it is also showing your capacity to be able to deal with others and find conflict resolution. You have the capacity within yourself as well as to deal with others in conflict resolution now. And that is a huge step for maturity. It really is. When we can deal with our situations, no matter how ugly, and keep calm and know that we need to get away from a situation like you did. And we know we need to cleanse ourselves of this so that we can start fresh and figure out a solution. That's brilliant to me, what you did in the dream. It really is.
Yeah. So snaps for Kelsey. You're amazing.
Thank you guys.
So
I love it.
You know, hearing all that, Kelsey, you know, for people who haven't ever had a dream interpreted or for people who are trying to figure out how to do it, how does it feel to you to hear the dream, and how do you know if something is true that we've told you?
Good question.
It's cool because sometimes, like, you guys both shared things that I was like, oh yeah, I'm going through that. But when I looked at my dream, I didn't see it being shown to me in that way. So like the fair being my family, I didn't pick that up. But as soon as you said it, I was like, oh my gosh, this has happened to me so many times. And
Okay.
so
Okay.
so that right there is the evidence to me of like I guess more so for Dominique, who maybe knows a little bit less of my life, that
A
she saw
lot
that.
less.
Because I assume Mackenzie knows a lot of things, and she does. I don't have to assume. She just does know a lot of things about my life. We are best friends and we share a lot. So it's always so cool to me. I mean, and I still feel this even with Mackenzie, of when they see something I'm going through does show up in a dream, because I don't catch it. And so I love seeing that. I felt that very many times where I make a decision in my life and people that I assume should be very supportive of it are not. And it's always surprising to me. And again, I do that thing of like, okay, do I need to seek their approval or their validation of this? Because and that was very sweet what you guys said about the Bluey show and my nurturing self, because I make decisions that I do feel like mean a lot to me and were value-based decisions. And then when other people in my life that I feel like should see that from me, maybe don't, it is hard for me to not, take it the wrong way. And I'm grateful for the dream too, because something I didn't really mention was even all this happening, I still wasn't going to change my mind about the decision I made. So I also feel like that's showing me I made the correct decision. Here's what happened after. But I guess also to me, that's some confidence of, I'm questioning myself less when I get these kind of responses. I still know in the bottom of my heart or whatever that I made the correct decision. Even if my support isn't always there with me.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's
so I love hearing
brilliant
stuff
and
like that.
strong of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love that. And it's that I love dreams for that affirmation and the validation of I am working through things and this is feeling different and it's looking different.
Yeah.
And you've been having so many dreams in a row that have really been building on each other.
Yeah.
You've been working through all these things. And so it's so wonderful to see it in this way, to be different.
Yeah. And that was cool to hear about how I had a conflict and a resolution in the same dream. I mean, I think I've had some other ones, but that is another cool sign to me that I am healing, and it's even showing up in my dreams that it's being done different. That's really cool.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kelsey. I don't know, how much time do you have? Are you doing okay?
I'm doing okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So I can be here longer, or if you guys want to get back to some of the other points you made, I can end here too. So
what do you think, Mom? Do we want to ask her a little bit about why she's wanted to start doing dream interpretation, or what she's done to start paying attention to her dreams or anything like that?
Actually,
what do you think?
a question I have, Kelsey, is so one of the struggles for people who want to have their dreams interpreted or who want to hear what else there is besides what they think there is our pride and not wanting to be wrong or not wanting to have someone else know our weaknesses, right? So as someone who's, just barely started doing all this stuff in the last year, I want you to tell us how you went through that. How did that happen? How'd that go through? Because I don't believe there's one person that doesn't go through that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I definitely went through it, and I think I still do feel that even now. Like even feeling this dream, I'm like, is this gonna share something I'm not ready to have the world know, or,
Right.
because we didn't talk about this dream beforehand. So I'm kind of walking in
No, we
blind of
didn't.
like, I have no idea what you guys are even going to say this dream is. So I even had that today of like, oh boy, what are they going to pick up from this?
Right.
I think for me, it helped that I started my healing journey, and I feel like I already started establishing trust with you and Mackenzie by taking your class. And then Mackenzie and I have done a lot of processes for each other. I've already had to grow a lot, being very honest with myself, being vulnerable. I can't pronounce that word correctly, but you know what I mean?
Who cares?
You're good.
You did
Yep.
great. You said it
Um,
fine.
Thank you. And sharing those harder aspects of myself. I know there was many processes I've done with Mackenzie, and she's asked me a question, and I've had to look at myself in the mirror and be very honest and real. And so I think all of that has helped me be more comfortable, especially with sharing my dream. And then as far as like the ego part, this is something Mackenzie and I have been doing more recently, because every now and then I'll have a dream and I'll ask her about it, and she'll kind of tell me basically the interpretation or what she's picking up from it. But more recently, she's having me tell her my dream, tell her what I think the dream is telling me. And then, she kind of helps fill in stuff like that. And that is the hardest part about my ego, because when I tell her what I think my dream is about, before I even hear what she picked up or what she knows, I I have to be very humble and just be like, I know I'm probably so wrong, but it's good practice for me. I'm learning, and I do feel like things are showing up more for me. Even today, this dream I had, I thought it was going a whole different way. And so hearing what you guys said completely makes sense. And it completely resonates. But for me, I think I'm still learning to see those deeper levels. So I saw it more on the surface. I really thought it was telling me a lot about my friend Kara, because that's who was in the dream. And so, yeah, I think it's very hard to not have your ego. And it's also hard not to have your ego in what you want to hear. There is, I think there's parts of this dream and any dream I think I've ever shared where I think I want to hear a certain thing about it. I want to hear, not like a compliment, but like, I think I'm like, I want like,
Build you up. Build you up. We want something to build you up a little bit.
Yeah, I think I want something like that from dreams sometimes, and that's not what they do all the time. And so I think the ego is hard because you have to admit you're wrong, and you have to be open to hearing something you may not want to hear, because it's not just all
so true
happy stuff all the time. I've had some,
and
yeah.
I love Kelsey, how you said though that you are learning to interpret your dream, and you come at it at a certain layer. There's nothing wrong with that layer. The problem that I've found in life, though, is that because a lot of us, so I interpret my dreams, but I actually interpret the same dream 3 or 4 different times in that day that I'm working on it, because the first layer is surface. The first layer can be me with my ego not wanting to be wrong and wanting just to be propped up and feel good. And then I go deeper after, and I go deeper and deeper. The first interpretation isn't necessarily wrong. It's just not probably really what the information is really needing to be dealt with, right? But what happens with a lot of people is, I loved how you said it, because you're not alone. We like that first interpretation. That's the one that we're safe with. We feel safe with.
We feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And when a person is wanting to work on and be authentic, truly authentic, means that you're going to go deeper than the first layer, the first interpretation concept. And I mean, we could even go even deeper with
Yeah,
this.
I mean,
This,
but
so it's-
we're making this public, so
yeah. Well, and not only that, it takes more time.
it
I mean,
does. It takes
takes
of
a
time.
lot more time and a lot more introspection and connection with
Yeah.
God, listening. So
Right.
I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Okay, I just have one more question for you, Kelsey, if you can.
Okay, sorry, 1 second. Morgan,
You're good.
I'm on the.
I have lemon.
Are you here for a few minutes? You're going. Okay. Thank you, babe. Okay, love you so much. Oh, it's so sweet. Oh. Okay, love you. Okay, sorry, Morgan.
Did
I
he
love it.
Morgan dropped by and brought
he
me
just come
a
and support
Chick-fil-A
you?
sandwich. That was really sweet.
I love Chick-fil-A anything. That's awesome.
Yes.
love language of Chick-fil-A.
That's
I love
true love. True
That's
love.
true.
Oh, that's so
That
sweet.
was so
Oh,
sweet.
that is.
So that was.
Oh, I love
I
that you
love
did
it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kelsey,
Yeah.
here's the next part I want to ask you. My mom's going to love this question.
Okay.
What do you do with this information now?
Yeah.
As somebody
Okay,
who's
you
had
totally
dream
went out on
interpretations-
me. Repeat.
Oh no, you didn't get to hear? Okay.
Oh.
I was saying, what does Kelsey do with the information now? After she gets a dream interpretation, what does she do?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So especially something like this where this is going to be a continual issue I'm going to face.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, just being aware of it helps me a lot because sometimes before I have the awareness and I just see the reactions I get, it's hard. So having the awareness helps me look past that. So I know that their reactions aren't because I'm making a wrong decision or because whatever that may be. But I think it helps me I mean, kind of like what I did in the dream. I kind of just let them throw eggs at me and feathers.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even say anything to them in the moment. I just kind of took it and I just knew I could wash off after. Not that I don't think there's maybe a better way I can do it, but I think it just helps me see this pattern and helps me, and in the part in the dream where I'm seeking validation. Yes, I still would love that validation from these people, but also I think it also tells me I don't need it because also, again, I know I made the right decision. The things I'm really trying to be and put into my life are good things. Like the Bluey show, I'm really trying hard to be a very present mom. In fact, as I say that, my son is waking up and crying. So yeah, I think moving forward, I think just the awareness is the hugest thing because I don't always see these ruts I get placed in, or I don't always know why people react the way they do. Like this right now, I'm just like, okay, I really just need to move forward and worry less about what other people think of me.
Good job.
Especially my
Good
friend
job.
posting on the Facebook thing. I don't know if you guys had anything about me screenshotting it.
I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay. So I just feel like it's maybe me. Wow, sorry. I lost my train of thought with my son. But I think this is a message to me to worry less about the things people are saying, either to my face or behind my back, and just have the confidence that I know what I'm doing and I'm making the best choices that I can for me and my family is what the takeaway for me is. So
that's awesome. Yay, Kelsey. Yeah. Thank you so much. Give Levi some kisses.
Kelsey, hon.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was so fun. Love you guys.
Okay, love you.
Love you too, hon.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, awesome. Wow. That was good.
That's such a good dream. I loved that. And yeah, I mean, hopefully that gives you guys a good idea of really how much information like one dream can give you. And like Dominique said, all the different layers, you can really get in really deep with these.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with someone that doesn't want to go very deep. As my pet peeve as a healer, I hate it when someone comes and asks for interpretation and then they go, "Oh no, it's not anything about that." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, yes, it totally is."
I was doing a dream interpretation. One of Ty's brothers asked me to interpret one of his dreams. And he doesn't really believe in me as a person, but he loves me and he's nice. But, he found out that I do dream interpretations. I interpreted one for him and he was like, "Oh, that was actually really good." And he asked me another one and I gave him, the answer and he said, "Oh, I don't want to think about the not in control part. I want to think about this part of the dream." And I was like, okay. I mean, you can think about and focus on whatever part of the dream you want to, I guess, but, your whole dream's trying to tell you something.
Right.
It's a whole lot of information there.
And it's hard because that's just it. Like Dad, Neil, her dad, he comes to me sometimes, "I have this dream I want to tell you, and I need to know what it means." And I go, part of me, my eyes were all like, "Whoa, no, you don't," like this. And then the other part goes, "Well, maybe he really does want to know. Let's see." And with him now, it's about 60-40. Now he's improved enough in his life that he actually does often now want to hear the full interpretation and understand it all. But there was a time really where it was so hard for me because he wanted it. And I would sometimes just do the shallow one because that's what I knew he really wanted. And so, and then when there's more, like one time it had to do, I can't remember the dream, but in the end, it was about him not taking care of his body. He had some Chinese herbs he was supposed to be taking. He wasn't taking it, and his body was getting weaker. And his whole dream was about him needing to take these herbs so that way his body could get stronger again. And it was like a real simple interpretation, I thought. And I said, "Well, it's about you not doing this, and you need to start taking certain things in your body again." And I didn't even say you need to take the Chinese herbs. I just said you need to start, improving your nutrition.
Like, are there any things that you have come to the top of your mind? You think about something you should take that's good for your body right now.
Yeah. So I just kept it really vague for him. And then I finished it. And he basically said, "No, I don't want to do any of that. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't need to do that." And I'm like, everything just wanted to go, "Wow, why'd you ask me then? Why? Because it takes time to answer a question. And then when you feel like it's not being listened to and not taken seriously, then you say, why did you do that? We can talk about anything. We didn't have to talk about that if you didn't want to."
Like, Kelsey was saying, working really hard on not having the dream have to mean a specific thing. And it is very hard. I've had people who, want the dream interpreted, and I give them the dream interpretation, and it's not what they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And then they search out and try to find anything to prove the dream the way that they want it to be interpreted. Right. And that is just like don't ask me to do something that you don't really want to know. Because it's hard.
Yep.
It is hard to, number one, be the person who has the dream and get an interpretation. And it takes energy and effort to be the person who interprets it. Because we're also making sure that we're neutral, or that, we don't, that we are really tuning in and listening to what, not just the symbols that the person has in the dream, but also like the spiritual messages that are trying to be transmitted, and what the, like you could tell in that interpretation, there's an overall feeling, there's an overall things that are going on, and being able to understand all parts of that. I mean, it's a whole nother basically language to know and to understand. So it, it takes time and energy to be able to do that. So we're so grateful We love interpreting dreams for people. Absolutely love it. And on TikTok, I do that for people. And it's something we love to do. But, part of doing it, and the reason why we like to do it, is when somebody takes that information and does something with it, turns it into a way to better themselves, which is really what your dreams overall, that's all that your dreams are trying to do, is better you and help you to heal.
Yeah.
So
true. I love it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. We love it. We're glad you're here.
Okay. Hey, guys. This was part 1 of a part 2 episode about dreams and dream interpretation. Look out. We hope you look out anyway for part 2, where we talk about the different kinds of dreams you can receive. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.